I'm here today with this beautiful laminator. This offers a 9-in-1 design, and it does both hot and cold lamination depending on the type of document that you plan to use. What I love about it is that it is super light. It's easy to transport from room to room. And look at this color. It is just absolutely adorable. I love this color. Let's go over all of its awesome features up close. Okay, so here is the laminator. So as you can see right here, you have an on and off switch right there. You can do the cold laminating by selecting this section right here, or you could do 3mm or 5mm. So this just depends on the thickness of the document that you're trying to laminate. And then you can switch between these modes using these buttons up here. Okay, so right when you open it up from here, this is actually a paper cutter. So what you do with this is raise this up like this. You insert your paper through here and you line it up with this line right there. And then this has a blade underneath it. As you can see, I'm just going to show that to you really quickly. So it does have this blade on the bottom, and you just run this across when you're ready to cut, just like that. I usually like to do it, 1 or 2 times just to make sure that it cut properly. But yeah, this is really awesome for when you're done laminating. You can go ahead and cut the paper, to the size that you need it. This is also good to use before you laminate stuff. So you can cut paper before it's laminated or after, depending on, what you're looking for. Next in here, we have, this is an edge rounder. So the lamination paper already comes with the edges rounded. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. But once you do cut it using the paper cutter, you're going to end up with sharp edges. And so this is going to help to solve that issue by making everything look rounded and nice. It just gives it a better look overall, and it's really handy to use. All you do is you just put the paper in here, you put the edge of the paper right there, and you just clip it. And I'll show you exactly how to do that. Okay, next you have this little hole puncher. And so basically this is pretty easy to use. You just insert your paper in there and just, it would just hole punch it just like that. It does also come with an extra blade to use with the paper cutter. And finally, you have these 3 different loops that you can use with your, when you're putting together little booklets and things like that. So you have this bigger size, you have a medium size, and you have a small size. So just depending on what you're looking for. But this is really awesome because it just clips like this. You insert your paper. Once you've made the hole into it, you just clip it like that, and you can use either 3 of these big ones or 3 of these medium ones or 3 of the small ones. I love the fact that you can just store them right in there so that you're always ready for your project. This offers a great place to store all of your things. You can also put this right in here. There's a little hole right there so that this blade can get inserted right in there, and this would close just like that, making it super compact and really easy to find everything. Okay, now it does come with lamination paper, so you can easily get started. There's 4 different sizes. You have this big size right here. It's about the size of 2 standard size sheets of paper. It could probably go in here as 1 big sheet. If you have like a small poster or just anything that's like this particular size right here. You have a standard paper size right here. So this is about half of the sheet that I just showed you. You have something that's a little bit smaller right here. So this is much smaller than the 2 previous sheets I just showed you. And finally, you have the smaller one too. So this is great for business cards and smaller things that you need to laminate. So just to show you how small these are in comparison to some of these other more big ones. Okay, so here is the laminator. We're going to start to kind of go through some of these settings right here. After you turn it on, it's automatically going to be at the cool or cold setting. Now keep in mind when you do switch this to hot, the top of the surface does get a little bit hot. So just keep that in mind. Don't touch it when it is laminating. Now using the arrow button at the top, you can actually go ahead and switch to the mode that you want it to be in. So whether you want it for the cold or you want to move it up to the warm, which is going to be, the 3mm or the 5mm, it's totally up to you. The type of document that you're planning on laminating does matter, the size of the document. So for example, if you are laminating a receipt, I would go with the cold lamination or older photos. But if you're doing just standard size document like we're doing today, you would use the hot feature. Okay, so today I'm going to be laminating my son's artwork right here. Now, as you can see at the top, there are, some things I need to cut. So I'm going to go ahead and insert this into my paper cutter and make the adjustments. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you do want to make sure that you line it up correctly so that you can make the cut in the appropriate location on the paper. Once you've lined everything up correctly, you're just going to press down firmly on the blade to cut the paper. Now, as you can see right here, it made a really perfect cut. So we're officially ready to begin laminating this. Okay, so I've grabbed my lamination sheet. Now you do want to go ahead and open it up just like this, and you're going to place your paper right inside and make sure that it lines up with the entire sheet. I like to center it right in the middle if possible, but even if you don't get it right in the middle, you can always cut the edges off, but just make sure that you have enough space. You want to give yourself some room on the sides so that you can cut it and still leave a little bit on the edges. Very important to make sure that you feed the paper in with the closed side, not the open side. So you're not going to feed it from this side down here where it's open because that's going to cause a jam. You want to make sure that you're feeding it from the top. Okay, I've turned on my lamination machine and now I'm going to go ahead and feed the paper through. Now, as you can see from this angle, there are some measurements down here. You can use it to align the paper properly when inserting. As you can see, once you put the paper in, it comes out the other end automatically. You don't have to do anything. And as you can see, it has perfectly laminated this paper right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the excess lamination paper off of the sides. And you always want to leave a little bit of room, as you can see, like at the top and the sides, so that the lamination paper does not come off. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut the sides. Now I'm just going to go ahead and measure it to make sure that I'm cutting in the appropriate location. And I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same step on all of the sides that need cutting. I usually don't cut the top part just because that's already, at the size that I need it to be. That's the thing with this, is that there's so much flexibility depending on, the size that you want to use. There's just so many things that you can do with this. Now, when I'm cutting, I like to, go back and forth 1 or 2 times just to make sure that the lamination paper does come off. Okay, so for the purpose of the demonstration, I have another paper that I did earlier, and I'm just going to show you how I'm going to bind these together. But before I do that, I do need to round out the corners of each side of this paper, which I'm going to go ahead and do right now. So you're going to go ahead and insert the corner just like this. And once you have it in there, you're going to just firmly press it. And as you can see, it did round out the side, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other sides as well. All right, so we are done. We are now ready to hole punch these together and go ahead and bind them with the ring clasps. I'm just going to use the hole puncher to make 3 holes so that these can be binded together. The hole puncher works really well. It's really strong. Then I'm simply going to use the rings to bind these together. Now, obviously, depending on what project you're using, you can use, more sheets, and, you can play around with the different sizes of the rings. I'm just showing you, just for the demonstration purposes, what these are capable of being used for. And here is the finished product, 2 laminated sheets that are bound together with the rings. I am a huge fan of this laminator. It really does exactly what I need it to do. I love the cold and hot lamination feature. It's perfect for teachers, students, parents, or really anybody who needs to laminate any sort of document. If you are looking for a high quality laminator that is also pretty and light, I highly recommend you check this out.